The Victorian Fairy Craze and the fake photos that made a fortune. Picture this: a quiet Victorian garden, neat hedges, damp grass, a little fog clinging to the ground, and right at the bottom of the garden, tiny fairies, not in stories, not in folklore, in photographs. And people believed it, millions of them. Today I'm going to show you how the Victorians became obsessed with fairies, how fake photos helped fuel it, and how some people turned that obsession into serious money. Today I'm going to show you how the Victorians became obsessed with fairies. The Victorians didn't just like spooky ideas, they collected them. They were obsessed with the unseen world. This was the age of séances, spirit mediums, Ouija boards, scientific investigations into ghosts. And here's the key point: photography was new. It felt like truth. If it was in a photo, it must be real, right? So you've got a society grieving lost loved ones, desperate for meaning, and a brand new technology that looks like proof. That combination is dangerous because it makes people easy to sell to. Fairies weren't cute. They were warnings. Modern fairies are sparkly, friendly, Disney style. Victorian fairies, not always. In older British folklore, fairies could be cruel, tricksters, thieves, things that lure you off the path, things that punish arrogance. So when Victorians talked about fairies at the bottom of the garden, it wasn't just whimsy. It was a way of saying, there are forces near you that you don't understand, and that's why the idea stuck, because it was close. Not in some distant forest, not on a mountain, right there, behind your house, where it's quiet, where it's dark, where no one is watching. The photos, proof you could sell. Now we get to the part that turns this from folklore into a business model: fairy photographs. Victorians were already used to spirit photography, photos where a faint ghostly figure appears behind someone. Most of it was double exposure, or staged props, or straight-up darkroom tricks. So when fairy photos started appearing, they slid neatly into the same market. People wanted proof, and proof was profitable. Think about it. If you can convince someone that the invisible world is real, you can sell them access to it. You can sell them tickets to talks and lectures, books and magazines, prints and postcards, paid séances, investigations, equipment, memberships to societies and clubs. It's the same formula every time. Create mystery, offer certainty, charge for it. The most famous fairy photos. The most famous case is the Cottingley Fairies. 2 girls, a camera, a garden, and photos that seemed to show fairies dancing and posing like tiny models. The images spread, and they weren't treated like a joke. They were treated like evidence. Even educated people bought in, because once you want something to be true, you stop testing it properly, and that's the dark part. Not that people believed in fairies, but that belief can be engineered, packaged, and sold back to you. The fairies weren't the product. The feeling was the product. Wonder, hope, escape, and the Victorians paid for it. The ominous truth. Here's what I want you to remember. The bottom of the garden was never about fairies. It was about control. If you can convince a population that unseen forces are all around them, you can influence what they fear, what they trust, and what they'll spend money on. The Victorians had fake fairy photos. We have different versions today. Same human brain, same weakness, same business opportunity. So next time you hear a story that feels magical, ask who benefits, ask who's selling the proof, and ask what they're really buying with your belief. Because sometimes the scariest thing in the garden isn't the fairy, it's the person holding the camera. If you want more dark history like this, where belief, money, and manipulation collide, subscribe. And tell me in the comments, if you lived in Victorian England, would you have believed the photos?